Hi everyone and welcome back to Amplify. I'm happy to see you here for the second part of the episode with Stu from the Noisy Brain, followed by a soundtrack from a Massachusetts-based indie rock band called Pink Palace. Enjoy!
When I started in counselling a couple of years ago when the major incident happened, one of the first things that the counselling guy said to me was, "Stuart, have you ever been diagnosed with ADHD?" And I instantly thought that this is all in the article I wrote, but I instantly thought that ADHD was something only children had when they were hyperactive, and you'd be sitting in a bar or like in a cafe and some kid would be running around and you just take, you want to carve him down. And I thought ADHD was that. But after we talked a little bit more with the counsellor and I did a bit more research, it was amazing. I'm 49 now and pretty much only found out that I had ADHD when I was 47. And it answered so many things for me, because I find it very hard to have these kind of conversations because my mind wanders like all the time, which is beneficial when you're coming up with ideas and when you're concentrating like on trying to come up with an idea, because your mind goes in all different directions. But when you're actually trying to explain something to somebody or concentrate on writing something, I will look outside and I'll look at one of the plants and I'll go, and I'll find myself outside doing gardening, and then I'm like, why am I out here? I should be in. And it's like my mind works like that all the time. It's doing it now when I'm trying to explain it to you.
Wow.
But I find that I am better off without a routine. My mind needs to be stimulated, and so if I go for a walk, one, it allows me to relax, but two, it allows me to clear my head, and it also sort of allows me a little bit of thinking time rather than being all full on and deadlines and everything like that. It wasn't healthy for me, like working the way I used to be working. And I know that everybody's not in as privileged a position. I'm able to sort of take a bit of time out. I'm lucky enough, my wife's got a good job and she's thankfully supporting me at the moment. I also think it's healthier for me to work like this. A majority of my time is spent on the Noisy Brain and talking to creative people, which is fantastic for me.
A couple of weeks back, I had a brilliant musician from the UK, Phil Dale, on the show, and then I asked her, "What's your plan for 2021?" And then she goes like, "I'm gonna go gardening." And I was like, "Really?" So that was really fun.
Yeah, there are so many things, but mainly, I love gardening.
Oh,
And
awesome.
I really want to learn more about permaculture.
Indeed, gardening is a cool thing, and taking walks. I mean, they all influence our mental health, right? I mean, if you feel that that it's beneficial for you, then why not? Let's stop, doing what everybody says. Let's do what's beneficial for us, what we feel. I also had a bit of a research recently about myself. Like I always, when I was in school, I was always journaling, and I got a bit mad at myself like recently, why don't I continue journaling? And then I restarted journaling, and then I realized how difficult it was for me. I absolutely didn't enjoy it until I started journaling on the black paper. It was amazing. I mean, I loved it, and I'm looking forward to that moment every evening. I mostly journal in the evening, and it's not about, you know, writing multiple things like pages and pages. For me, it's only writing one page and just something positive that happened today, and also like making a small painting of something there, like an animal or sun or whatever, or a heart even. And I felt so like it was so beneficial to me. And whenever I go to the living room and I see my little corner with the black journal and the colored gel pens, I immediately have some like positivity increase in myself. Like, oh, whatever happens today, tonight, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to journal this. It's cool.
No, that's great. I think you've got to have something that's I mean, along with the gardening and the walking, I just went back to basics, and I used to enjoy art and drawing, and you know, I started doing pottery. I took up pottery for a while, and again, for somebody who has like the noisy brain problems, when you do pottery, you're concentrating on literally what is in hand. It was something that, like, you know, I would definitely recommend people like trying, you know, and for me, like having those moments out and just clearing your mind for, it doesn't work for everybody, but it's worked for me so far.
Yeah.
I'm not cured.
Stu, and when we spoke about like you don't have a specific routine, do you have like a schedule? When do you wake up, or you don't care about that?
No, not so much. I mean, we wake up reasonably early, and like myself and my wife have been working from home for probably the last year. Actually, today is the first time that my wife's got into work, like for about a year now. We don't really have set hours. Like I think people in advertising and similar jobs will relate to that. It's never a 9 to 5 job. You know, like you can be working like 24 hours, or you know, you got, and also now with like everybody's having meetings all around the world, and so some of your meetings you wake up at 6, or like, you know, etc. So actually having a routine it doesn't usually really happen, but yeah, I mean, no, I don't have a routine specifically, but my days are, I'd say at least 90% of the time at the moment is noisy brain related.
Who inspires you, or what inspires you?
Well, it's a hard question, because you know, inspiration, working in advertising like for as many years as I did, like inspiration can come from anyone and anywhere. It can be as simple as listening to somebody's conversation on a bus will give you an idea, or you know, people watching was a big thing. When one of my first ever bosses at Saatchi and Saatchi in London was always telling and encouraging us as creatives not to ever be in our office, not to be sitting at our desk, to be going out, to go to the cinema, to go to a gallery, go to a coffee shop, or go to a pub, you know, and sit and chat and watch, you know, because if you're observing life, that's where all your ideas are coming from, you know, and that's what the ideas that people can relate to. Now that times have changed, and you know, I used to sort of, when I used to be in charge of a few creatives in my team, I used to encourage them the same, because I genuinely believe that you need to be sort of drawing on reality, like, and things that you see every day, and that usually inspires strong, simple ideas. It can be a joke that somebody says, it can be, you know, but if you're always looking on the internet and always looking on Google for your ideas, if it's on Google and it's on the internet, it's an idea that's already been done. So you can't take that, you know, you shouldn't take that. You need to come up with something original. And I was lucky, because that was upbringing through advertising from day one, yeah, my boss was just very, very encouraging of like, don't be at your desk, you know, go out and experience life. So I was lucky like that. I know there's a lot of people that are, got a lot stricter bosses than I did. You know, I don't think I could find any specific person that inspired me. You know, I've always been a fan of, say, David Bowie, like, as somebody that continued to reinvent himself, and you know, he never stuck with one genre of music, and his looks were always different and things like that. And I know it's an obvious example of somebody that changes. Then, but I don't think I really look for one person for inspiration. I think at the moment I'm sort of more inspired by people that follow their heart and follow their passion. And because it's tough, you know, like I was talking to a couple of musicians. Well, I'm always talking to musicians at the moment, but it's really hard to focus and be so committed to something that you're passionate about when there are so many more distractions in the world of, you know, yes, you need money, and yes, you need to sort of like pay the bills and etc. If you can, I think, you know, you've got to follow those passions. And you know, I think people that go against the grain and do their own thing, they're the people that inspire me. Ultimately, it's so hard to break through, like, and stick to what you love, you know.
I couldn't agree more. Sometimes we look for inspiration so far away when it's only like really next to you, and you know the person who is every day like doing what they want to do and enjoying it. But we are going into to you know, podcasts and some TED Talks about people who are really far when there is somebody just next to you, your brother or your sister or your wife or your partner or whatever, or your mom, and it can be so many different things. Are you, I know that you're most of the time now you're busy with the Noisy Brainer, but is there something new that you would like to learn, a new skill that would maybe be beneficial for you in the Noisy Brainer project?
I think with the direction my life's taken with helping create the Noisy Brain, I've been thinking recently, after quite a number of conversations with people that are dealing with mental health problems, and I'm also talking to lots of counselling and therapy and nutritionists and things like that, that eventually we're going to have all of these facilities on the Noisy Brain community app. I've actually been thinking that I potentially should start studying about mental health more, because it's going to only help me. I mean, I don't think I'll ever become an expert. I suppose we're all experts in our own way. It's definitely going to help me talk to people, you know, and understand where they're coming from a little bit more. If I understand a little bit more about their mental health condition or why these things happen and things like that. So yeah, that's something that I think it's going to be beneficial for me to pursue, is a little bit of education on mental health, which is again, it's an obvious choice because of what I'm trying to do. So.
What about like any specific skill that you need in order to make the app navigate? Like, I don't know, there are so many things probably that happen behind, some graphic things, maybe some computer things. Or is there someone who's doing that for you, or it's all you, or how?
We sort of have like a media supplier. I think they're called Disciple Media, and they kind of basically rent us. I think I said earlier, but they kind of rent us like a skeleton of the app, and then we can decide how the app works and navigates. So we're kind of restricted like by a template.
Okay.
But on top of that template, we have to art direct it like our own way, and give it our own character and everything like that. But no, as far as actually learning how to put the app together, it's all very trial and error. And I'm not, as my wife and anybody that all my friends would know, is I'm not the most tech person in the world in the slightest. So yeah, it's been a bit of a learning curve for me, and well, we're always going to be still learning, I think, on this.
Yeah.
So we've undoubtedly we're going to have some teething troubles, and we have had and we will have. So we just got to approach them as they come.
How do we know that something is going wrong with our mental health, and what should be the first thing we should do?
Well, the first thing, I don't know. I think that's again is another really hard question to answer, because I can only answer it from my personal experience. Every single person's mental health is different. Every single person's different, so everybody's minds are different. So no one case is the same, and that's what it makes it so hard to detect from an outsider. It's very hard for me to say, Eric, you've got a problem, or if I was good friends with you, like friends don't notice. And the problem is with a lot of mental health, it's embarrassing. It's always been embarrassing to talk about. It's only in the last few years where people have started to be a little bit more honest and open about their feelings, which is great. But there's so much more to do. I think if you do have problems, and I think most people can gauge whether they're depressed or they're down. For me, it was just that lengthy periods of constantly feeling down, alone, isolated, where you actually, it's embarrassing to say I'm feeling like this. It's kind of hard still to talk about it now, but I would just advise anybody that knows that they are depressed to try to talk to somebody. It's, from my personal situation, I didn't for so long, and it caused me so many problems. And before the problems, you feel so very vulnerable, and you disguise that in different ways, maybe by drinking like I did, or not even socializing, so people don't see you struggling. You don't want people to see you struggling, because you are vulnerable and emotional. But the one thing I'd say to somebody is talk to somebody that you trust. Talk to your best friend, your family member, your wife, or all of them. And it's amazing what happens when you talk. From being so alone and so isolated, you're suddenly surrounded by everyone who loves you, and they show you that love, and you regret not talking about it before, and the weight literally does lift from your shoulders. It's an amazing feeling once you've opened up. So yeah, I can only say from my experience, just try and talk to somebody. And it's a cliche, but it has to be. You have to try and do it. Try and tell somebody you're feeling shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wonderful advice. I mean, it's easy, but we, for some reason, don't think about it when something happens. Stu, who do you want to amplify?
You got too many hard questions. No, I have to sort of say there are too many people. And I'd love to amplify anybody who works in the mental health industry, um, anybody that sort of is helping people, and also those individuals that are dealing with their own mental health issues. I'd love to be able to amplify each one of them and make sure that they know that there is a support system there for them. But I know that this is a creative chat, so I think what I would like to, because it's creatively focused, I think if I was to actually have to pinpoint like and amplify somebody, it has to go to like a young band that I've just been talking to. They're a creative duo. Then the band name is Collars. What I like about them, and it's really like a shout out to everybody that's like we was talking about before, is their passion and their enthusiasm of what they want to do. They're following their dream. They've both got full-time jobs and they're still focused on doing this. I think you're the same. I just love their energy and their vibrancy. They produce their records themselves. Suddenly you've gone quiet. You don't like being asked questions.
No, it's just, if there was, there are so many people like that, really, and if there was an opportunity to put a monument for every single person, I think there would be simply no way to turn on the street, because everybody is in that situation. Everybody I know, we all have some kind of a day job struggle and so many ideas that we want to still do in our life, but the day jobs take so much energy and so much time. And now with COVID, people thinking that you work from home, from one perspective, everybody says like, you have to take care of yourself, blah, blah, blah. And on the other hand, you receive so much work that, and yeah, you don't need to commute. You should be able to do everything from home. You should have more energy. But then we forget that the work, your 8 hours of work, it's really the 8 hours, and you are not supposed to think about it afterwards. But we are like, we are working for free with our brain.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely understand that there's a lot of people, but I think Collars would be really good for you to talk to. I think you'd have a lot in common with talk with a musical process. I feel that they're kind of unique as well, because like Kane does play both the instruments, and but I just love their enthusiasm and their energy. They've also got their own podcast called Pop Your Collar. They do like a monthly podcast, I think, at the moment, and also they make their own music videos as well. So I like the creativity and their energy. I talked to them recently, and they're fun, nice, genuine people. And so yeah, I'd probably amplify them for one of your next episodes.
Yeah, will be done. Thank you. Stu, where can we find you?
Just pretty much all of the on all the socials, really. I mean, as I said before, the Noisy Brain community app has launched. That can be downloaded, obviously on Instagram at the Noisy Brainer, not the Noisy Brain. And we have got a website, but I'd encourage people to explore the app, because I think more traffic and more interesting content will be uploaded onto the app. And anybody that would like to help support us, it will help us to help others. So that would be fantastic. And yeah, we're open to any feedback, good or bad. Like, we need to get it right. So yeah, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk today, Eric. That's really great.
I appreciate you finding the time to talk to me, and we are in different countries. There's time difference, and still we could do this. I will try to be more like friend today, and I'm gonna call up my friend who had a project in mind since long time, and I'm just gonna go and check on her. How is it going? And if I can, I just gonna give her a nudge to maybe explore the opportunities a bit earlier and not to postpone all the time.
No, that'd be good. I think collaboration is always so much better, like for all projects. It only seems, for me, only seems to build on the idea. I mean, you were sort of saying about the inspiration and how far do you push the ideas and things like that, but when you start collaborating with people, you never know which direction these can go. I mean, the whole Noisy Brain project is all about collaboration, and it's organic as well. I mean, I hope that this time next year I can talk to you, and who knows where it's gone. Like the beauty of it is everybody else's involvement. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And good luck with everything you're doing, Eric.
Thank you very much. I will be definitely checking out the app, and who knows, maybe in a year from today, as you say, there will be a song which is released by me, and you use the notes of another person. So you never know. Thank you, Stu. Much appreciated, and
thanks so
see you on
much.
Instagram.
Feeling so far from what I'm seeing. Too fast to outrun, ignoring what I've done. I've lost what I was seeking. Sea of problems crashed into you again. I'm an island, keeping out of reach, sinking under me. Don't bother saving